Greetings, everyone. My name is Kevin from the Apex Modulators, and today I've got a little something special for all my retail traders out there. Trade Optima, a solution made for the retail trader by the retail trader. But anyway, let me start you off with a bit of some background knowledge. So, in the retail trading industry, the general rule of thumb is 90% of traders lose 90% of their capital within the first 90 days. And really, it's no wonder, right? Compare retail traders to institutional traders. Institutional traders think of Wolf of Wall Street, the guys that you find in the big New York buildings, people at the JSE. These are essentially traders who are backed by an entire organization of analysts, researchers, trading coaches, and investors. Compare that to what retail traders have. The only thing retail traders have to their disposal is essentially a bunch of YouTube videos and some PDFs available online for free. And they're essentially set up to fail. But why is it so lucrative? Well, if you think about it, for most people who do get into the retail trading industry, they don't really have a lot of options and they're basically finding ways to make money online. And once you hear that there's no limits to how much money you can make, the markets are open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and all you really need is your phone and an internet connection. It's no wonder so many people get into it. Now, the real cost or the real kicker here is that without proper risk management, a disciplined trading plan, and continuous study of the markets, all it takes is just one bad trade to lose your entire capital. And I mean entire capital that you might have invested into a brokerage account. Now, Trade Optima is essentially a solution that is easy to adopt and simple to use. But what is it that we are trying to solve here? We're trying to solve um, the facet of technical analysis. Now, how people, or rather retail traders, analyze the charts is essentially going to set the tone for the rest of your trading career, right? Especially when you're starting out. Now, learning is the easy part, but application, proper application of the knowledge is most difficult because people tend to have quite a subjective view of what the charts are portraying. And without a methodical approach, this can lead to quite some detrimental losses. So let me hand it over to one of my group members to essentially go through the solution, or rather how we solve this problem.
Greetings everyone, my name is Muzo Pepe. I present to you Chart Analyzer. This is a solution that aims to provide a user with an objective, structured way to identify pivot points, analyzing chart patterns, as well as identifying useful information to explain what those patterns mean. The user will click on Select New Chart Image. They click the whatever chart they want to analyze, and then it loads the chart. They click Analyze Chart, and then they click Highlight Pivots. Pivots are highlighted and indicated as circles, while the chart patterns are highlighted as structures, lines, and also they are named. Now, the user can then click on any pivot, let's say this one, and then it describes what the pivot is associated with in terms of patterns and the nature of the pivot, whether it's a swing high or swing low. Now, for example, P7 is part of the pattern double top, right? Which means that if the market is moving upwards towards that line, it is likely to change direction from an upwards line to a downwards line. The user can click show pivot number for easy pivot references. Now, pivot P7 is also part of the resistance line, which is this red line. And this means that if the market is moving upwards towards that line, it's likely to change direction from an upwards direction to a downward direction. Now, all these other patterns, the green line and the head and shoulders, the double bottom, they're all explained in detail when the user clicks show all patterns, which describes each pattern identified in this chart. Now, the user can click display analysis overview, which just explains what the chart patterns, what is the most recent chart pattern that has been identified in this chart. They can click save analysis chart, which will allow them to navigate to a specific folder where they save the chart. They can click here and save. And then when they open that folder, they will see that the chart has been saved. Now, they can click compare historical data, which will bring up a chart from the database which is most similar to this current chart that has been analyzed for comparison. Thank you.
Great. So apart from just analyzing the charts and highlighting pivot points, what we can also do is we can edit some of the nodes that appear on the chart, right? So then you go into the edit mode, right? So first things first, you can essentially view the details of each and every one of these nodes as already stated. We can remove a node, right? We can remove this node here, and by so removing that node as well, it also updates the graph or how this image is being viewed. Apart from just removing, we can also add nodes back to the graph. We can add another node somewhere here. And for every node that we add or remove, it essentially updates the graph as well. Great. That's about it.
Greetings, I'm Ghost Lubisi. I'll be going over the core structure of the program. So what we used was an adjacent list graph, which we then adapted into a different class, which is the market map, which will simply hold the graph and also some handles the connection and removal and rebuilding from a list of the whole graph. Then for our classification, we used the pattern matcher, which is a class that uses geometric calculations in essence to find the different types of patterns, then returns a list of them. Then for the comparison, we use the KNN analyzer, which gets its data from a class that loads images into the system, which will then be compared to the current image that is being analyzed by the user. Thank you.